I mean, the first dude I shot, he was 600 yards on a motorcycle. So it was a pretty far engagement. You know, we were still getting shot at from a couple different hide sites.
And you got him?
Oh, yeah, I shot him. So I shot at him like 3 or 4 times and missed. There was, laughing. All they heard was, man, as fast as I could rack that 300 Win Mag bolt, I was sending them. And he turned, and when he turned, he slowed down enough, and I was able to shoot his bike out from under him. Had an AK, had some saddlebags and stuff, wound up being all these IED materials, HME, and the mortar fuses. And he got behind this one little thing. It was like a wall. You know the old busted down walls over there, like an old building? It's kind of like that. Not I could only see him, his belly right here, shot him to the stomach. And he fell over, kind of watching him. You could start smelling him like a gut-shot deer, where the wind was blowing. And my chief came over from the village where they were doing kind of their KLE, where they started out early morning, do the clearance, and they did a key leader engagement. He said, hey, man, good job. We'll take care of it. So we go over, we clear up to him. Old boy sits up. He's got his, AK. He sits up like this right here. And the guy I was with, I'll try not to use last names at least, because I think he's still at development group right now. So maybe we should cut all that out altogether. But me and the guy I was with, he was going around him on the L, and the old dude sat up with his AK, and I remember throwing my carbine. We were running Scars at that time.
Really?
The 7.62 Scars. That first run of test Scars, and they were phenomenal. I hated the ergonomics, but they ran great and they were super accurate. And I remember throwing that thing up and hitting him with that little red dot in that L-cam, boom, and his head looked like Gallagher popping a watermelon. Shot him from like about me to you.
Wow.
Where we cleared around to, and I was like, I was stoked, dude. This is what every team guy dreams of, right? Sniper kills, close quarters, kills, and that happened a pretty good bit, especially early on in deployment.
Do you know about how many sniper engagements you had?
Oh yeah, well, if we count all the ones where you missed a guy or wounded a guy and somebody else shot him, I would even say, maybe hundreds.
Wow.
100, like actually being able to shoot at guys. Who hit them? If we hit them, who knows? Actual legit sniper kills that I can count. They gave me an award that said for 21 sniper kills, right? But it might be other guys shooting them and moving too. But I would say like legit sniper kills.
A few dozen.
8, yeah, I would say 8, like legit. Like I put my crosshairs on them, squeezed the trigger, and watched them go down. 8 legit sniper kills. And then there was some where we shot them close. There was some where we were machine gunning dudes down on motorcycles, moving to mortar positions, and so they count that as an overall.
KA.
Yeah, for the task unit or the platoon or whatever, And I want to say, somebody's going to hear this and they're going to be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but it was over 300 dudes that our task unit killed. So you got, roughly 35 SEALs. There's over 300 dudes we killed on that deployment between Alpha and Bravo platoon. Alpha platoon got more kills than we did because where they were at Fob Lane and the operations they did. But we had a lot of our kills just in fob defense.
Yeah.
One night, I got on the Ma Deuce. It was one of the first base attacks we got, and I got on where my sniper tower was. We had a 50 BMG, I say sniper tower. There's 2 towers, and this was like a sandbag area. And we were just putting one level of sandbags up, and then that PKM was burning through the sandbags, and quickly we said, hey, we need 2 layers of sandbags, right? Because bullets are still coming through the sandbags. And they were shooting rockets and mortars at us, and I saw some dudes shooting in the field at about 50 to 100 yards. They're kind of standing up and shooting this little field near where we were. And I just took that Ma Deuce and, just did a Z pattern, through the field, and then a W pattern up and down, and we went out there and collected bodies, and we counted 5 dead in that field. Now, other guys were shooting in that field too. So those were a lot of the, maybe the kills, I guess.
I mean, shit, so on that deployment, that's a 10 to 1 ratio then.
Probably so. Stumpf could probably tell you better. He said, man, you got a terrible memory, because I said, yeah, we did a 6-month. He said it was a 10-month deployment. He was right, because we actually rolled over in February. Now, some of the guys rolled over earlier than the others. When I got in country, we're getting ready to go do DEA ops, and that's when Adam Brown was killed, and everything went River City, and that was like when I first got there. So that would have been beginning of March of, 2010.
Yeah. Was that motorcycle sniper shot the most kind of dynamic sniper shot, or were there?
Nah, man, we shot a lot of guys off motorcycles. The furthest dude I killed was on a motorcycle. It was at that might have been the most dynamic one. That was at 2,345 yards.
No shit.
Yeah, so he started out. He came out of a village, so we were doing. This was a task unit size op. I remember that, and so we had Bravo and Alpha clearing these two separate villages, and they were basically pushing together and doing a key leader engagement, so they could hopefully engage any of the squatters from the villages that were bad guys. So we're doing that, and then obviously killing Taliban fighters in the area. And man, we were getting nothing in our hide site. And it's first thing in the morning, we hear shots going on in the town, and it was, God, man, we should be on the dang clearance. This sucks. You're sitting there with a sniper gun, don't see anything, just watching, and everybody's getting into fights or just killing some bad guys. They engaged some trucks. They were engaging them. So there's a lot of stuff happening. And these dudes kind of come out the back end of the village, and there are two dudes on a motorcycle with their, one of them had a PKM, the 7.62 by 54 round, the machine gun, the belt fed that they ran. And the other had one of those AKs, with the long bipods. And he was one of we always called him the red-bearded wizards, right? He had this big beard and had all the red dye in it because he made the trip to Mecca or whatever it was. And I remember him specifically, him coming out. Bro, they were like 800 meters just down below. It was a super high-angle shot. Kale was on a 300 Win Mag, and he called me and said, hey, bro, we got guys on a motorcycle, and they kind of started rolling that way. And he said, let's get down here and try to do some command fire. I remember telling him, hey, dude, start dumping rounds at 300 Win Mag right now while they're at 1,000. And when you run out, because we had to move our hide sight, you had whatever's in your magazine. When you run out, if you don't hit them, I'll start sending it, because I had that McMillan TAC 50. I love that gun, man. That thing, 660 grain Rothfuss round just blowing up every time it hits.
Dude, 660 grain.
660 grains. I tell you, the ones that shoot better is the 750 grain solids. We shoot those out of 50 BMG now. They're phenomenal. But had comp B in the tip, so they kind of blew up when it hit, and you could see it at distance and know what adjustment you need to make. So anyway, he shoots, and he misses those 5 shots he had, and they're kind of zipping around on the motorcycle. And I remember Cease is out now, so I can say his name, but Cease was with me, and he starts lazing it. And I remember the first one was 1,710 yards. He had that, remember the big rangefinders? We had the Viper, the humongous, they'd lays out like 6,000 yards or something. 1,710, shoot. And I could see the trace on this. I could see the trace in my scope, which, I can still do that now, even so, but it's harder depending on where you're at. I just remember seeing the trace, and I remember watching it go over, boom, and blow up, and so I'm making they're doing the thing, and I got to that 5th one. There's 2 guys on the bike. I remember the one guy jumping off and running into the hills. I didn't track with him. I was like, I'm gonna stay with the guy on the bike. He slow turned this roll, and he was rolling around the side of a hill, and Cease says, 2345, bro. If you're going to send it now, because, he was kind of going to disappear. I racked my bolt. I cranked my dope all the way out, and I needed 2 more mils of hold. So I remember holding on that second mil dot and putting the wind hold that I thought on. The dude was in the bottom corner of my scope, and I remember closing my eyes. Natural point of aim was good. This dude was slow rolling, and I just said, please, Lord, let it hit. I remember watching that trace, and it went over the hill, and it blew up, and the bike fell over. And I was like, daggum, man. I said, I think I missed. And about a minute later, our T commander called. Scott said, hey, Hud, how far was that guy that you just shot at? And I said, about 2 clicks. And he said, that's a long shot, son. He's laying over there calling for a doctor and a mechanic. So what had happened, and they cleared to him and saw what had happened is the bullet went through the bike, and it went through the guy's leg. More so up, and it might have went through both of his legs actually, and through the bike, but either way it went through his hips. But he lay there and bled out. He said the guys on ICOM are like saying he goes with God, but it went through him. And that was my long story, just to tell you that was my longest kill, and that dude was on a motorcycle too, doing about 3 miles an hour that way. So